In this video, you get to come along on the journey of turning a Shakespearean sonnet into a staged theater scene. So often in theater, we get to see the final product, but we so rarely get to go along and see the journey and that process of creating it. And here at Empty Space Artistry, we want to change that. Also, if you are a theater maker, a director, producer, actor, designer, technician, any kind of theater maker, I would love to meet you. Comment below to let me know what kind of theater maker you are. Let's get into it. Here are the rules for the challenge. I'm gonna be given 3 things. 1, a Shakespearean sonnet. 2, a prop and or set that I have to use in the staging. And those are the only props and sets that I can use in the staging. And 3, a food that I have to incorporate somehow into the performance. And within these very specific parameters, I have to find a way to tell a compelling and cohesive story. Let's see if I can do it. And who is going to be assigning me these things? I'm glad you asked. It's going to be this guy right here. Because honestly, who doesn't love a spinny wheel? I think I'm ready to spin. Let's put that first category up there, the sonnets. And okay, so Shakespeare wrote 154 sonnets, and most of them are love poems. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? When you read all the poems sequentially, they actually tell a much larger story as well. But we just have 4 of those 154 represented here today, and they're all on here twice, actually. And some spin-agains. Wah, wah, wah. So let's just give it a spin and see what we get. Oh, I thought I was gonna just spin again. Okay, sonnet number 76. Okay, if I'm gonna be honest, this was not my first pick for the sonnet to do, but you know, it is very, very beautiful. So I'm excited to tackle it. So sonnet number 76 begins, "Why is my verse so barren of new pride, so far from variation or quick change?" And I'll put the entire sonnet in the description below. This sonnet is basically talking about like, I know that I just keep writing love poems for you, but my love is so deep for you and you are so wondrous. How could I possibly write about anything else? Only, of course, it says it a lot better. Okay, it's time for a scene change here. So usually this would be the part of the show where the curtain closes and somebody comes out to sing a power ballad to distract from the set being changed behind the curtain. And then the curtain opens and I know it's the same wheel, but on the wheel is different. We have our props and or sets that I can use. So yellow is our spin again, and then we have books and paper, a bench, balloons, a balloon or balloons and a bed sheet, and a chair or chairs. Okay, so those are the 4 options. Like I said, they're on here twice. And right out the gate, I'm gonna say I think the only one I'm really hoping maybe not to get is the bench. Probably just because the sonnet is kind of about this repetition of writing these love poems that all have a similar theme. And so with either like the balloons, the chairs, or the books, there's like multiple that I can imagine like using to visually kind of show some sort of recurring theme where the bench is just a bench. But yeah, let's see what we get here. Spin again. Oh, okay. All right, here we go. Please no bench. Let's see. All right. Okay, I got the bench. So this is officially a challenge. So let's just figure out what food we're gonna put in here and we're gonna get to work, people, because there is work to be done. Okay, so we got the food items on here, and why food, you might ask? Like, why is this one of the categories? And because why not? It's fun, and it's gonna be a challenge to figure out how to get one of these random foods incorporated in a Shakespearean sonnet. So what we have here is, we have first in the green spaghetti. Sounds difficult. water, pie or pies, and Cheetos. And I don't want to jinx it, so I kind of don't want to say, but I'm gonna, that I'm really hoping for Cheetos on this one because I think it's just like my last attempt to have like multiple things. And it's like a fun splash of color and like Cheetos. I just feel like it's gonna be fun. Okay, so fingers crossed. Let's see what we get here. Oh. Yes, Cheetos. I got Cheetos. If you couldn't tell, I got Cheetos. This kind of like redeems the bench. I'm excited. But seriously, this challenge is really fun because although it's kind of crazy things like Cheetos, it's a really good example of how in theater a lot of times we're kind of handed or inherited different things and we have to find a way to make it work coherently together and in a really compelling story. So I will be doing Shakespeare's Sonnet number 76 with only a bench and some Cheetos. I have here Sonnet number 76, hard copy. And I am going to try and set a 30-minute timer and block this piece. But don't worry, I'm gonna speed it up for you. You're welcome. The first thing I'm gonna do is just read through it a couple times to refresh my memory and make sure that I really kind of internalize the material the best I can. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is some research. Got my handy dandy laptop. So I'm just quickly searching some insights into this sonnet, both the topic and the structure of the sonnet itself. So now I'm just gonna mark up my script a little bit. First, I'm gonna be looking at the structure. So here I have my structure markings for the piece, and part of that you can see, because this poem is written in iambic pentameter, that means there are 10 syllables and they alternate between unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed. And I kind of have those marked out as well as like my A, B, and kind of just the structure. That's gonna be a really helpful starting point because the structure already has it broken up in a certain way that I don't want to ignore, or at least I want to be aware of when I'm staging the piece so that I can work with the structure and not against it. Okay, now I have a second, again, blank sheet that I'm gonna start writing some of my notes and my ideas and my blocking notation on. So immediately I know that I wanna stage it like a scene. So one of the first things that I'm looking for then is the tension, the conflict in the piece, especially because, you know, it's a sonnet, so it doesn't have dialogue in it. I'm trying to see where there could be interplay between two characters and who are these characters, and also trying to figure out, okay, how can I highlight a bench? How do the Cheetos fit in? I have a lot of ideas for the Cheetos. I think the hard thing is that I keep having ideas of Cheetos with something else, so trying to just have Cheetos and a bench. One of the first things I think about is like the opening picture. So I really want to use that orange in a bright way across the stage. It really helps expand the composition. So instead of just two actors and a bench, but by adding these little pops of color, these little orange pieces all across the stage, you can kind of expand that world of the play visually. It's a fun way to really open it up and use the whole canvas of the stage. I want the Cheetos to mean something. So I'm just trying to figure out how I can establish what they mean and then keep it consistent over the course. And of course have a payoff. Always gotta have a payoff. I love the crunch sound of the Cheetos, so I'm really looking to the end to figure out when. I'm gonna put that in there, so look for that. The hard thing is, I feel like with the clock ticking and recording it, I feel such a sense of like, this has to be good. But I just want to keep giving myself the freedom to remember it's a challenge and I'm challenging myself, and it's more about the exercise and the journey than the final product. And if I could just embrace that, that will free me up so much. So I don't know what artist out there needs to hear this, but remember, freedom to fail is an artist's most valuable asset. I really want to take advantage of the beginning of the piece and not just jump straight into the words, so that I can kind of build the story, the stasis of that world before we jump right in. So here it is, my finished blocking notation. I have it all scribbled up, so many notes on here. I'm really excited to see how this is gonna turn out. And be sure to watch part 2 of this challenge, where you'll get to see me working with actors, staging the show, and of course, the final product with Cheetos. I'm so weird. So if you haven't subscribed yet, then now is the perfect time to hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss part 2 of this challenge. Thanks for coming on this crazy journey with me. And if you want to see more challenges like this, then comment below and tell me what food you would like to see me spin for, or what piece of music you would like to see inspire a theatrical scene. See you in part 2.